3 years ago, I was sitting in a cubicle in San Francisco wondering if this was all there was to life. I was good at my job, I was making decent money, but I felt completely invisible. All my skills and all my experience, they lived and died inside Slack messages and Google Meet meetings that nobody would ever see again. And the worst part was I was building somebody else's empire instead of building something that I can own myself. Fast forward today, here I am sitting in Vietnam. I work when I want, wherever I want, travel anywhere in the world, and I make more money than I ever did when I was working in corporate. And I'm not trying to flex on you guys. This is just what happens when you stop being invisible and you actually leverage your skills to build a better life. And so in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why 2026 is the year you need to be building your personal brand and selling your skills online. So starting things off, we're gonna talk about the secret every employee knows, but they just won't say. So when you finally get a good job and you're climbing the corporate ladder and you're getting paid a decent salary, everything's going good, but what you may not realize is you're trading your time and actually spending it building another person's dream. And you might be doing everything right, kissing ass in the corporate politics, climbing up the ladder, making sure the right people like you. I understand this because I played this game when I used to work at Oracle in tech sales. But if you think about how your life is gonna play out for the next 5-10 years, can you see yourself doing the same thing over and over, climbing the ladder? Maybe another 10 years, you'll become the VP at this company, right? Or maybe not, you'll never get the spot and you'll be stuck at where you're at for a long period of time. Because here's the truth, when you're working at these large organizations, for me, I worked at Oracle, which is like a multi-billion-dollar company, right? No matter how good you are, you're actually still a little gear in a machine. Even if you disappear from the world, or they fired you, or they replace you with AI, you're easily replaceable and they're not gonna even remember you, a week from now. So take my position, for example, right? I was an account executive at tech companies, okay? So my job was to generate revenue for the company as an account executive. So yes, I can do well, I can make the company money, bring in deals, great. But if I ever did anything wrong, or they didn't like me anymore, or I got hurt and I couldn't work anymore, I'm easily expendable because there are probably hundreds of thousands of people that are willing to take the job that I had. And these skills and sales skills that you can learn, anybody can be trained doing it. So would you rather be a small gear in a machine, or would you rather just build your own empire using the skills that you have? Another thing I'll point out is when you're trading your time for money, right? So let's say I'm going out and I'm selling deals every single month and I'm hitting my numbers. If I don't work, I will not get paid. There's no possibility of me just chilling on the beach, living in Vietnam or Thailand, doing nothing and getting paid every day, because I have to sell my time in order to earn an income. Whereas if you look at something like building a personal brand, compounding your influence over time, like you can make a YouTube video just like this, and every day you can have thousands of people watch, and every other day people buying stuff from you without you even lifting a finger, right? And that's what we call leverage. Make once, sell forever. So when you are kind of like this corporate slave in a way where you're kind of trapped in the golden handcuffs, you don't have leverage because you can only make money when you sell your time, which is what the companies want. They want to buy your time for as cheaply as possible and get the most out of you as possible. And if you have no leverage, it's kind of hard for you to have different options, charge more money, increase your salary significantly, right? Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for, every year, maybe you're gonna get a 5%, increase in salary or a 10% salary increase, right? Whereas if you had something of your own and you had leverage and you had a personal brand and thousands of people followed you, maybe you can multiply your income by 3, 4, 5x. But that's only possible when you have leverage, not when you're just selling your time. Now, invisibility is not your biggest problem. I'm gonna explain to you why if you stay invisible for the next 5 years, it's going to be a catastrophe for your career. So 2026, everything is going to change with the advent of AI. So the truth is AI going to replace a majority of jobs, especially if you are working at a nice cushy office with the golden handcuffs? Absolutely. So back when I was in sales, right? If you were someone that had to generate meetings, doing cold email or LinkedIn, you would basically spend 70, 80% of your day doing manual tasks. You would go on LinkedIn, click on everyone who might be a good fit, try to find all the companies, and then you would save them all to your CRM, and then you would write the emails manually, and it's just like a very manual process. So what would happen is you would spend 70% of your time just doing the admin stuff, maybe 30 or 20% of your time actually selling. But as you know, with AI, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, or any other software out there, nowadays you can just say, hey, this is my company, these are my ideal clients, here are some sales calls so you kind of know how I sell my thing. Go out and find me 100 companies that would be an amazing fit for me to reach out to. and AI will actually do all the work for you now. Not only that, but based on the context, AI is gonna write all the emails for you and can even send it out for you. So the jobs like an SDR, a sales development rep, where you would get paid 60 to 80K a year, it's like you can replace, 80% of that work with AI for just a couple $100 a month. Even if you think like, oh, AI is never gonna replace my job, you would be surprised that AI can do a lot of jobs better than regular people can. So if you do nothing and you just continue your life the way it's going and expect things to always go well without developing new skills or building any leverage, I have some sad news for you. It's not gonna work out. And not only that, but companies are getting way smarter. They're getting a lot more productivity out of every employee by making sure that AI does like 80% of the work. This means that there are gonna be less positions for people to get promotions. More people are gonna get fired and displaced. They're not gonna know what to do. And it's just like, there are less people getting promoted at these large companies, especially because there's so many people that want the spot, but there's only so many spots. There can only be so many VPs at a company, right? If you want to take advantage of AI and build a personal brand, let me kind of share some sauce with you. The first is, no matter what skill you have, right? If you have a good job, you have a skill that is valuable in the market, you need to be taking that skill and sharing your thoughts and opinions about that online, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, it doesn't matter which platform, you just have to get started. And when people know who you are, you have leverage. You're not just like an anonymous gear in a machine anymore. You are an authority and people will pay premiums for working with authorities. It doesn't matter if you're like a marketing director at a company, take those skills and your experiences and start talking about it online so people know who you are. Give yourself some options. And you might think, oh, like it's so saturated. How can you build a personal brand when there's all these other people that you're competing against? And I understand, right? When you go on YouTube, you see people like Alex Hormozi with, millions of followers and, all these other names. How can you compete with them? But the reality is, it may seem saturated if you only look at these big guys. But what you may not understand is that every single niche, you can be a top 10 influencer, KOL, or creator if you just niche down hard enough. You keep changing what you do and how you present yourself until you're different from everybody else. I have a client, for example, Brandon. He was very interested in the creator economy, right? But when he started making content, he wasn't that competitive because he was literally competing against every other person teaching other people how to become creators. When I started working with him, I asked him, okay, like what industry and skills do you have? He's like, I'm a VP at a construction glassware company, but I also love content creation. So I said, why not create a service helping specifically construction and glassware companies with their content creation? Because I asked, like, how many people are there who's targeting that niche? He's like, oh, maybe like 1 or 2 in the United States. So instantly, within the first 30 days, he became, a top 3 creator in his niche because the lack of competition. And because it's so specific, but uses his skill set and experiences that he had, working like 10, 15 years in the construction business, he just became an instant hit and got from basically no offer, nothing, to $10,000 a month. So it's not too saturated. You just have to find the right market that fits your unique skill sets. And think about it, if you actually have a personal brand, you can get hired as an employee and get paid a premium salary because of that personal brand, or you can provide services, start an agency, and work with multiple companies because you have that personal brand. Why would an established company work with a random stranger versus someone who actually has a following and knows what they're talking about, right? So you see, the personal brand is going to be the way, whether you want to continue as an employee or if you want to start your own thing. And by the way, if you want my step-by-step roadmap on exactly how you need to be building your personal brand, creating an offer, and selling your skills online, I actually created a free training to show you exactly how to do that from A to Z. This is the exact process I took my client Brandon, as well as many other clients on how they were able to basically go from a 0 income to making a full-time living doing this. So if that sounds interesting to you, I put a link in the description for you to check out the free training. So now we're gonna talk about what a personal brand actually gives you. So in my opinion, once you start building a personal brand, what you actually gain is leverage. You're able to multiply your income. You can work at or with anyone you want, and you can charge premium prices. This is the pure advantage of a personal brand. And not only that, but instead of trading your time for money, you are in charge of your own schedule because you have the leverage. So I explained to you how I personally spend my day-to-days when it comes to using my personal brand to build a business. So pretty much my job is to, number 1, create content. Number 2, monetize that content, basically with sales calls and getting people to sign up for things. And number 3, once people sign up and I have clients, my job is to help them make content, and help them monetize. So essentially, what I do is what I teach my clients, and the more I help them, the more successful I get, and the more content I have to teach you guys, right? So it's like this flywheel that keeps going. So it's very simple. My day is just basically making content and making sales. But there's also a personal aspect to it, right? Because of my personal brand, I work for myself. I can spend my time how I want. So in the mornings, I'm basically doing Muay Thai like 4 to 5 times a week, first thing in the morning, and then I actually start work after that. And if we think about lifestyle, I'm able to work whenever I want. I go travel with my girlfriend to another country like Thailand, Japan, Philippines, Bali, like all these different places, like every 3 months to kind of reset and just like enjoy my life while building this business. And as time goes on, because I'm creating more and more content on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, my brand compounds. So I become more famous, more people know who I am, I have more case studies, I help more clients. So as the years go on, it just becomes easier and easier. And this content that I'm putting out, it's selling for me 24/7. When I make a video like this one, I put it up and it can get tens of thousands of views, sometimes hundreds of thousands of views without me doing anything extra. And these videos are the ones that actually sell people into my philosophies, and they eventually book a call and then we close them on the phone. Right? So that's like you're multiplying yourself, and it's like you're cloning yourself to be a sales rep for yourself, and it's just like selling 24/7. Let's kind of compare like personal branding to if you were to work in a corporate environment, right? So in corporate, it's very slow to climb the ladder. You got to spend years and years, you incrementally grow your salary, and then maybe if you get a promotion, if the boss likes you or the higher ups like you, it's like you don't have a lot of control. You got to play the company politics. You kind of have to kiss ass a little bit, and you got to make sure the right people like you. And if they don't like you, good luck. And you're locked in a lot of ways, right? So your income is locked, where you live is locked. If you have to go to the office every single day, you're stuck in that place. I remember when I used to live in San Francisco, I hated living there. So I always had the dream to move to Asia, but you can't do that if your job requires you to come to the office 5 days a week. And not only that, it's just how you spend your time. Like if I wanna go do Muay Thai in the morning, I wanna do it. Nobody should be able to say what I can and cannot do. At the end of the day, it's about having control over your life and having freedom to do the things you wanna do and make good money doing it. Now, if we were to compare that to personal brand, which I would say is significantly better, you have full control over your time, your income, and where you live. I'm making this video from this building here in Vietnam, teaching you guys, and this video is gonna be selling for me 24/7. I'm gonna be making money every day. Number 2, I own 100% of my business and my personal brand. Nobody can say I can or cannot do anything. It is mine, right? So I do, you are your own boss. And number 3, it's uncapped potential. So I'm making more money than I was at my 9 to 5, like right now. And I have staff to help me multiply my time. And whatever I'm making right now, I see myself 10xing this in the future by continuing to compound my personal brand. In a regular job, it's pretty much impossible for you to 10x anything, right? Like if you're making 100K a year, like how realistic is it for you to go to $1 million a year? Some people can do it, but for the most part, it's very difficult. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur, yeah, you take all the risk, but at the same time, you have all the upside. So it becomes, like reasonable, right? I'm not saying everyone will hit it, but it's reasonable. With all that said, how should you be playing the game if you currently have a 9 to 5? If I were starting over, first thing I would do is I would continue my 9 to 5 job, stack as much cash as possible, save as much money as possible, so you have a big cushion. I was only able to leave my 9 to 5 job because I saved enough money from my commissions so that I can quit and live a year in Thailand without having to worry about money, right? So the money and the safety builds confidence. So number 2, as you're doing your 9 to 5 job, you need to develop skills at your job and also outside of your job so you can become more valuable in the market, right? So if you're a let's say you're a marketer, right? You want to learn everything you can at your job, but also you want to spend your time on the weekends, after work, reading books to get better at your craft to become top 1%. Then as you start learning different things, you just share all the things you're learning on your social media, and that is your content. You don't have to say you're the expert. You just say, hey guys, I'm a marketer. This is my journey to become the best version of myself. Nobody can hate on that, right? And then once you build a little bit of a following, and you only need a couple thousand to really get a client, to be honest, you start selling that skill that you're talking about with your personal brand, and you sell it online, okay? You get clients, you charge 2 to 5K a month, and that's, you basically just do what you did with your employer and just do it for them and just have like multiple clients. And once you're so good at that thing, You might be only working like, 5 hours a week on a client, getting paid a couple $1,000s a month. So now that you understand everything from a high level perspective, let's talk about the personal brand roadmap. So the easiest way I found, and this is how I help my clients actually sign clients within like 30 or 60 days working with me, is this. If you look at what you need to do to build a profitable personal brand, there's really only like 3 major things. It's all about lead generation, right? So it's about getting as many meetings as possible per month. Like if you knew, right, let's say you had some kind of skill that you can sell, and you knew for a fact every single month you can get 100 people on a call. Don't you think you would close at least 1 person? Right? You would probably close more than 10 if you got 100 meetings, right? So the problem most people have is that they have a skill, but they just don't know how to get a meeting. So let me show you how to get a meeting. We're gonna start with this. If you wanna build long-term personal brand, YouTube is the way for sure. So you wanna start, the golden number is 1 long-form YouTube video a week, okay? Let's talk about the things of how you solve problems. Number 2, you wanna pick a short form platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter. I wouldn't recommend TikTok for this one, so it's those 3, because there's a DM culture, right? So you wanna post at least 5 times per week on just one of these platforms. So if you're gonna do Instagram, only do Instagram and YouTube. If you're gonna do LinkedIn, LinkedIn and YouTube. If you're gonna do Twitter, Twitter and YouTube, right? Don't be doing LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram at the same time, it's too difficult. So let's say you did Instagram, and you're posting 5 days a week, maybe it's like a lower effort content, that's fine, and 1 YouTube video a week. Now, on top of that, this is where the magic happens. You wanna send 20 outbound messages a day. And these could be 20 people that have no idea who you are, they don't know your content, but they would be a good fit for your services. Those are the people you hit up. And I know, I don't wanna reach out to people cold. Too bad. If you're starting from 0, you wanna make money tomorrow, that's the way to do it. Now, of course, once you start getting your personal brand going and people start following you, then you can DM all the people that look qualified who followed you or engaged with your content. That's gonna be a lot easier, right? That's what I do all the time. But I built my following so I can do that. I don't have to reach out to people cold. But if in the beginning, you might have to do a mix of cold and warm. So if you do this and you funnel everybody to booking a call, so you make a YouTube video, what's the call to action? Book a call. You hit someone in the DMs, have a conversation with them, what's the call to action? Book a call. Right? It's all about just booking a call because that's the easiest way to sell in the beginning to make, let's say, 2 to 5K per client. Then when you're on the call, you just kind of understand their problems and close them. That's it. So as long as all of your efforts funnel everybody to getting someone on a DM and booking a call, you will make money. The only way you wouldn't be able to make money is if your content was so bad, your outreach is horrible, and when someone's on the call, you just choke and freeze up. Then yeah, obviously you're not gonna be successful. But if you are getting better with every single post, and you're getting better with every single DM and every single call that you do, eventually you should be able to sign some clients. So all this sounds good, but let's really talk about the real reason why you haven't started yet. The first common fear people have is they think, oh, what if I'm not good enough? I want it to be perfect. What if my employers judge me? What if my friends judge me? And these are all valid. But let me tell you this, because I work with a lot of people who are starting from 0. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares if you fail. If you make a video that nobody watches, guess what? Nobody watched it. Nobody even knows. And even if they said negative things about you, do you think it really matters? No. I think people are so afraid of trying to be cool and trying to fit in. But what you don't understand is when you're creating content and you're building a personal brand, you're getting paid to stand out while everyone's trying to fit in. So you need to rewire your brain and how you think. You want to stand out. You want to do the thing that nobody is willing to do or they're afraid to do. And that's actually how you gain attention. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, then you're not gonna go anywhere. And if you're so paralyzed, oh, I want it to be perfect, you're just afraid of being judged by others. So think of it like a project. Even if you make a piece of content you put out and it's not good, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's okay, it didn't work, let's just put out another one. And that's how it goes. Even creators who have big followings, I might put out a video and it flops. Who cares? I just make another one and the next one might hit. And that's how it goes. Eventually you become you just don't care whether something works or not because in aggregate, as long as you're moving up in the positive direction, it's fine. The other thing that holds people back is that they feel like they're starting from 0 and it's very difficult, right? The reality is you're not really starting from 0. The easiest way to make money building a personal brand and selling your skills is actually taking a skill that you already have and selling it online and building a personal brand around the skill you have. So if you've been in sales, for me, I was working in sales for 1 year and 8 months. I took those skills, even though it wasn't that much experience. It's not like I had 5-10 years of experience. I had 1 year and 8 months of experience. I took that experience and I spent online courses and started a whole YouTube channel teaching people how to do what I did. And as long as you're one step ahead of the other person, it's fine if you don't have 10 plus years of experience. You can spend 6 months becoming an expert in a subject, like legitimately, to be able to coach someone on that thing, right? Like you can become an expert in AI tomorrow. Every person who claims to be an AI expert, they didn't even use ChatGPT 2 years ago, right? Like all these things you can learn today. And just take a look at my first YouTube video. Like the sun was blasted in my face, the camera's overexposed. Look at my hair, it looks like, I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, right? But I just put it out. It got like 20 views the first week when I put it out. I didn't care. I just put out another one every single week until I had 1,000 subscribers. And once I had 1,000, I was like, okay, like this is real, right? And for me, I always had the confidence. I didn't care how long it would take. As long as I stick to something long enough, I knew it was gonna work. So hopefully by now I sold you on the idea of why you need to be building a personal brand. But let's talk about in an alternative universe where you just decided to do nothing. So let's fast forward, and the year is 2031, right? Let's say you're still in the same job. Maybe you got promoted one time. You increase your salary by 10%, but inflation is catching up. So it's not even like you're not even feeling more richer. You just feel like you're barely getting by. And everyone around you is saying, oh my God, I wish I started a personal brand back when it was so easy, back when there was no competition, back when anybody could have been a top 5 creator in their industry. Like, don't be that person that looks back 5-10 years from now and say, oh, I thought about building a personal brand, but I just didn't do it. I could have done it. Don't be the type of person that says I could have, be the type of person that says I did it. And also with the advent of AI, like, who knows, 5 years from now, like your job might be completely replaced. And maybe you won't be able to find a job at that time, right? If you don't take advantage of this whole revolution. And you're gonna see the ones that have a personal brand and have the leverage and the fame and the connections, they're gonna win in all aspects. They're gonna get the best jobs. They're gonna become the VPs, the CMOs, that's faster than you would. And they're gonna build their agencies and services, and because they always have attention, they know they have skills and they can sell it online. So the key here is you need to be a visible expert. Don't be the best kept secret that nobody knows who you are. You need to put yourself out there, and you need to be top dog and build your personal brand so that people come to you. All right, so you have 2 paths in front of you. Path 1 is you stay invisible and you keep building someone else's empire. You might cross your fingers and hope things work out, and maybe you don't get replaced by AI. Maybe you'll just wait for another promotion after working at the same position for another 5 years. Or you can take path 2 and start becoming known for your skills. You can build your own empire and take control of your own destiny and make yourself irreplaceable by building your personal brand. And honestly, if you work hard for the next 12 months, that year can completely change the trajectory of your next 10 years of your life. And look, I'm not here asking you to quit your job, but rather build some career insurance while you have some stability. So while you're getting paid every single month, you might as well take the skills you have and build a side business and a side income to build a future where you actually can buy back your time. So if this sounds like the path you want to take, I've actually put together a free training resource that breaks down the exact next steps you need to take in order to build your personal brand and online business. Now, this free training is completely free. There are no strings attached. I put a link in the description for you to check out. And remember, the best time to start building a personal brand was actually 5 years ago. But the second best time to start is going to be right now, today. Not Monday, not next month, not when things slow down at work, but today. Because 5 years from now, you'll either thank yourself for taking the leap and taking the chance on yourself, or you're gonna regret not starting sooner. I'll see you inside.